Krishna. We'll continue. We'll continue our discussion today, but not the nectar of instruction. Continue general discussion, and then go from there. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pungam Langayate Girim Vitkripatamam Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, discussed upon our independence and free will yesterday. How the independence have to be used and how the free will has to be addressed. Who should drive that? How do we drive it? And what is the intent behind it? So, dear devotees, when you think about this further, let's say you're traveling, let's say you're going from one city to another. What do? You think about that before you put them in action. You go, you try to assess what I need to carry, what I shouldn't, how many LBs I should have, and which flight it is, what gate I should go, how do I check in. You think of these things one by one. So what are you doing? You're investing your consciousness over there, right? So through that investment, slowly but steadily, you try to get through all your questions. You might put a check mark that once this is done, then you move on to the next thing, right? So likewise, you complete all those actions and then be ready for your flight, right? So what are we doing? We are actually using our independence in completing a task or an activity. Our acharyas, likewise, they are also using their independence, but their independence, what they are doing is they're completely giving it to the Lord. Please understand this. Na dhanam na jhanam na sundarim kavitam va jagadesha kamaya mama janmani janmanishware bhavatayad bhakti rahitu kitvai. No matter what, they want to be away from this. These three aspects. Dhana, jhana, sundari. Why? When we think about this, the dhana, jhana, sundari, if we are not away from it, what's the problem? When we are not away from that, or when those things are not used in the service of the Lord, then that's an obstruction. Obstruction from what? A child might ask, what's the problem if I watch this? Or what's the problem if I do this? What's the problem if I do not be grateful to my parents? What is the problem? So likewise, what is the problem if one have these things? No, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu might have told. but how practical it is. You should think about that. This is how the mind will actually drive the person, because our independence is driven through the mind. One cannot be pure, one cannot concentrate, or his attention will not be correct if his mind is not pure. One's mind, if the mind is not pure, his actions cannot be pure. His actions cannot be pure when his eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is not pure. If we actually see this, one's focus and one's attention is not right because his mind is not right. As the mind is not right, his actions are also not right. When his actions are not right, his eating, sleeping, mating, defending cannot be. Because what is it? The root, they have a problem. For example, if a person goes to the doctor and then he asks, "Oh, dear doctor, this is what I have, these are the problems," then the doctor gives prescription. But the problem is the patient is not taking the prescription. He's not following as per what doctor has recommended him. He's not doing it. When the sadhaka doesn't do as per the doctor, then what happens is, no matter what medicines doctor has, it might be expensive medicines also. It doesn't work because he's not taking the prescription. So a lot of people would come, would ask, stating that why this process of Krishna consciousness is not working because you're not taking the medicine. Because you're not taking the medicine. Bhajahure mana Shrinanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vrindare. The mind has to be focused at the lotus feet of the Lord. Krishna, who is all attractive, all powerful, and all merciful. He is the source of everyone. Dina Bandhu. He is the savior of all the fallen souls, fallen conditioned souls. Patita Pavana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patit Pavana. That's why he comes and then he shows his life, and then he gives the instruction. The devotees always think about this. The moment when a sadhaka follows the instructions of the Lord, then he is with the Lord actually. Because instruction of the Lord and the Lord, there is no difference. Evam yovete tattvataha taktva deham punarjanma. Janma, karma, chame divyam. His pastimes, his names, qualities, his everything is on the absolute plane. That is the real truth actually. Anything which we see in the material world, if it is converted, if it is transformed, then that is spiritual. Anything, it can be anything in this world actually. But that spiritual, which is there, which Lord tells. For example, if you go and try to discuss name, fame, glories of a person who's on the material plane, then that doesn't give satisfaction. That's a clear indication actually. You discuss about a person who is not on an absolute plane. That gives what? It doesn't give satisfaction to the heart, rather it gives frustration to one's consciousness. Because the soul which is there in the heart, that doesn't have a relationship with that particular person. You might discuss about a person, but you do not get satisfaction because he's not the Lord or he's not the representative of the Lord. He's someone who does something. He himself, he doesn't know from where he came. They were actually discussing yesterday on this that, oh, Prabhu, you should think about this. Or you have a son, or you have a daughter. He might be 20 years of old. What kind of relationship you have with him 30 years back? The son's age is 20 years. What kind of relationship you have with him 30 years back? You were there. Your son was not there. Do you think you have a relationship with him at that moment of time? No, we don't. No, what's gonna happen? What kind of relationship we have after 50 years? After 50 years, we will not be here. It's discussing this with the devotee who was like 45, 50 years old. 'Cause the sun might be there, but we will not be there. That means the period which we are discussing right now, what is this period? And then within this period, we try to think so many on the plane which is not on the absolute. We try to take care of him, this, that, so many other things. Do this, do that, help him with that, help him with something else. But technically, when you see that, it doesn't have a substance or a value. Please try to understand this because natvetan jatuna samnatvaneme janadipana chevana bhavishyama. Arjuna, he's been told by Krishna that, my dear Arjuna, I was there in the past, in the present, and also in the future. So do you. You were there in the past, in the present, and in the future. You will be there in the future. You might not be through this body, but you'll be there through the soul. Now, what is this body? This is just a mere covering. And this body doesn't have a real existence or real substance. It has something, but that something is not on an eternal plane. But the thing which is there within this body, that is there on the eternal plane. And that Atma which is there has a connection. Now, how is that connection established? Janma karma chame divyam. The connection is there through what? Through this way, not any other way. Even the jiva is trying to figure out what is right to me. What is right? So the Atma is actually trying to figure out through the subtle body, through the mind, intelligence, and the ego. It is trying to figure out which one is right to me. What should I aspire for? What should I do? What should I not do? But the moment it comes in contact with the absolute truth, the moment it hears about the Lord, the moment it hears about the qualities of the Lord, then it gets attracted to that. Because Krishna is what? Sarva akarshiti iti Krishna. What is that? That person is all attractive. So this jiva, which I don't see right now externally, but that jiva is sitting in the heart, in our consciousness. That jiva has a connection with the Lord. That is why the process is called as bhakti yoga. Yoga means what? Connection. Through what? Bhakti. Bhakti is what? Devotion. How is that devotion done? Out of hatred? No, out of love. This is the independence which we have to use. When we use the independence in this way, then the attention comes. Now, through that attention, what happens? The mind becomes purified. How? Because it's thinking about the Lord. Bhaja Huremana Sri Nandanandana Abhaya Charana Ravindra. Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. This human form of life is like that. It's like a water drop on the lotus leaf. It falls away. It is there on the leaf. The water drop is there on the leaf, but it is not connected to the leaf. It falls away. So our life or our actions or activities are like that. Please try to understand this. So-called busyness in this world is not helping us. What? So-called busy, trying to be busy, just like a bumblebee, just like the honeybee. They're busy in this world. Collecting what? What is honeybee doing? Collecting honey from various flowers. That's great. That is the asset of the honeybee. But how many days the honeybee will live? For a short period of time. Now, what did he do with all the honey? Might be used for somebody else, not for the bee. Likewise, all our properties, all our assets, all over this, that, so many other things in this world, they're like the honey, which it is there, but we don't relish. So many things, they're like that. Kamala dala jala, jivana talamala. So we don't know when that drop falls away from the lotus leaf. If there's a breeze, the water slips off. Just like you keep mercury on a substance, the mercury doesn't get connected to that substance where it is being kept. Let's say you kept a mercury on a table. It doesn't get connected to the table because the bond is the bond doesn't allow it to connect. For example, if you pour water on the same table, the water gets connected, but mercury doesn't. And if you tilt the table, the mercury would flow away. That is our life, dear devotees. That is the life in this world. We are here, but we are not here. For example, if you're walking on if you're going in a street, you're just watching. Do you think the street will be like that after 100 years? No, it will change. New shops will come, new road will come, new shopping complexes will come. According to the time, place, circumstances, things will change. So many other things will come. So what is it indicating? It is a clear indication that is our life. It doesn't stay like this always. It changes constantly. A child will not remain the child. He will grow up. He'll become an adult. He'll work. He'll be married. He'll have children. He moves forward in his life. But the child, when he becomes an adult, he doesn't realize that Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. Bhajahu Haripada Nitire. He will not realize that because when there is a gush of wind coming on the lotus leaf bends. The moment the lotus leaf bends, the water drop, because the water drop is not connected to that leaf, it falls off from that leaf. Likewise, the soul would leave this body. The soul is there in the body, but the soul is not connected to this body. It falls away. When the time is up, it leaves. No matter the wife is crying or the children are crying or this person, that person, or our family members, they are crying, that doesn't matter. If the soul has to leave, it will leave. It cannot stay there. It cannot stay there forever. Can stay for like 70, 80 years. That's about it. It cannot continue. Cannot remain like that. Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. That is our life, actually. We are devotees. So, how in which illusory state we are? It's a proof, actually. We're in complete illusion. How? Because we are making plans in this world. For what? What kind of plans are they? Those plans. Now, why this question will always come? No, if I'm not, if this body is not permanent, if I'm the soul, and then if soul would leave from one body to the other body, then why am I making arrangements here? That's a valid question because we do make arrangements here. Why? Because the nature of the soul is to be eternal. The soul is not temporary. That is a creation of the Lord. It's a powerful personality, very powerful personality. That soul is permanent. That's why it is making arrangements so that it is permanent here. Even though, even though this world is temporary, but our thought processes are permanent. This world look temporary. Yes, it is temporary. You go anywhere you go, whatever you do, whatever you are connected with, it's all temporary. It's all you deal with matter. The so-called husband or wife will not be like that forever. They become old. They do not give same happiness which they gave before. That means the happiness which was there before, what kind of happiness is that? That's also temporary. So whoever is hankering for that kind of happiness, he will never get satisfied in his life. Now, we might do some arrangements, but that arrangements are also not up to the mark. Very, very important, dear devotees. This aspiration we need to always check. So rather, the moment we understand that we don't run behind so-called things of this world, we have to put a full stop on that, because that doesn't have a substance. When we think about this, dear devotees, our attention is not on this matter, but rather our attention is on the spirit. That means whatever actions and activities we do it to elevate that spirit. That should be our goals and aspirations. That is a real goal for us, actually. Real goal is what? Is the soul establishing that connection with the super soul, with the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the real thing, actually, with the soul. For that, we need to take association. But when we come to that plane, dear devotees, the spiritual masters, especially our acharyas, we have eternal relationship with them. This is not on a material plane. It's on a spiritual plane, completely spiritual. Now, how is that? That's like water mixed with salt. Now there is a glass of water, you added salt in it. When you mix that water and the salt with your spoon, then again you'll see the water, but the water is different now. You don't see that, it is same. It looks same. But when you taste it, It is salty. No, where is that salt? I don't see the salt. I don't see the salt. That doesn't mean that the salt is not there. The salt is present within the glass of water. It is there, it is existing. I might not see, but I can experience. So, the soul, I might not see, but I can experience. It's there. It's there always. The moment you get up, it's there. The moment you sleep, it's there. The moment you do an action, it's there. The moment you go here, go there, it's there. The soul is always there. It doesn't vanish because the Lord created the soul in that way. No, we are not a man or a woman. We are just there in those bodies. But rather, you're a powerful spirit soul, which is part and parcel of the Lord. And the spiritual master and the archers, they give us that. They give us that knowledge. They train up our consciousness in that way. So the moment we deal in this world, we deal through this consciousness only. Example, you're diseased. That's just a disease to this body, not to you. You're not that. You're something else. If somebody is mocking you or stating that, oh, you're like this, you're like that, or you're black or you're white, they're telling your body, they're not telling you. You should be pity with those people. They don't understand the essence. So the moment we are engrossed in this bodily conception, we need to be pity on ourselves. What am I doing? Where am I? What am I thinking? Why am I thinking to get happiness through this body? Where there is no happiness through this body. Why am I running? Why am I running behind like that? Just like a donkey, just like a male donkey running behind the female donkey. The female donkey would kick on the face of the male donkey because the male donkey is looking for that, for some little satisfaction with the female donkey. But the donkey is kicking on the face again and again. But still, it would go behind that. Hare Krishna. Because what is he doing? Because it is convinced that it can only get happiness through this body. It's an animal. Animal doesn't have much thought process other than eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But we human beings, we have that. Just see, the animal is in a complete illusion. Actually, in that animal also there is a soul. But the animal would never realize that, oh, I'm not this body but a powerful spirit soul. It can never realize because it is completely covered up. It's in full illusion. Full too. Complete illusion. But the human beings, through that special intelligence, we get an understanding that we are not that. Through the process of hearing, we can understand that. And when we lead our life as per that, you get reflections. So application is very, very important in one's life. When things are applied like that, then it makes sense. But rather when the things are not applied, it doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense. Because we are not that. We might think we are that, but we are not that. Our thought process, our consciousness, this is what we are. Whatever we think we are that. If we think on a soul platform, we will come to the soul platform. If we think on a bodily platform, we will remain in the bodily conception. If you are trying to look happiness through this body, what is all of these things here about is all of these things are giving our independence. Because it's all in the independence. How we are using our independence. What are we trying to do with our body, with our life, with our mind and soul? That's the whole point where our acharyas do tell Manas Dehagyo. You should, and we should all invest our mind, body, intelligence, everything, everything on this Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. On the truth, on the qualities of the Lord, and his pastime. Lord is so compassionate. He's so compassionate. How? How is the Lord very compassionate? He is giving, even though we came so away from Him, but still He is giving. He gave this body, He gave family, He gave this, that, He gave so many things. He gave job, He gave a place to live, He gave home. This, so many things He gave, even though we do not, even though we are away from Him. Just like the child who has lost the relationship with his father, but still the father accommodates the child. That, my dear child, you do this. The child is rebellious, he went away. So the Lord, so the father and the mother, they would accommodate wherever he goes. They would see that he's taken care. So Krishna is like that. That kind of a father. He would take care of us, even though we are away from him. Even though we do not have a substance or an existence with him. So even though we do not have, we generally, dear devotees, we do not have a relationship with the Lord. It's completely lost actually. But still he's giving us, still he's accommodating. Even in the heart of an atheist, Lord is sitting and then accommodating accommodating his desires. He's trying to fulfill everything, even though we are away from him. So that's the magnanimity of the Lord. That's the greatness of the Lord. Yes, we need to understand. Hare Krishna. I'd like to stop here because of another assignment, and dear devotees, tomorrow I will not be available because I'll be traveling from Seattle to Memphis. So thank you so much for the opportunity. If anyone would like to add anything, would like to share anything.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Darvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Ma.
Prabhuji, just have reflections that building relationship with Guru and Krishna, and it's like everyday process, Prabhuji. Like gradually, I need to practice that. And as you said, like those bad things comes in the mind, like thinking about all the mundane, sometimes in some circumstances, but I had to like say myself like what I'm doing, what I'm thinking this way, all the bodily things, why I'm thinking about this. So that way I have to check my mind while when those things will come in my mind. And the relationship with our families, it's very temporary, that we need to understand. So too much attachment is not good. So the attachment should be with Krishna, what I lost in this lifehood. So that's my takeaway, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Definitely. When we see them through the lens of our acharyas, everything makes sense in this world actually. Everything. Whatever we have, whatever we are doing, whatever we are aspiring, everything in this world. Everything makes sense. Because everything is given to us. If you see, we've been kept in a particular body. And then after some time, we've been removed from that body. So these are all very clear indications actually. again and again we will realize this, that how important it is. We've been given something, we've been taken off something. We've been kept in a situation, we've been removed from that situation. And then it looks so foolish that if we run behind those things, the so-called propensities of this world, it looks so much foolish actually. Because that is actually greatest obstruction in one's life. But when we see the lives of our acharyas, life of our spiritual master, life of Srila Prabhupada, when we see their life, it's a very clear indication that they are there here, but they are not here. They deal with this world, but they are not part of this world. They are like staying at a rental house. That's what they see this world as. It's like a rental house. What does a rental house represent? The rental house means we don't own that. So the person would know today or tomorrow I have to leave this home. So they are here, they are not here. So it's a very subtle thing. It's on a consciousness level. So how a person knows that he's here but he's not here? When difficulties comes in his life, what shelter he's taking, that represents what he is. You see, through the life of Srila Prabhupada, when difficulties came, he is always absorbed in what he is supposed to do. Whatever his goals and aspirations are, that is what he is doing. That's the life. That is actually the life. That means we get up in the morning for their happiness. We go to bed for their happiness. We work here for their happiness. We deal with the things which we are not supposed to deal for their happiness. Everything we do for their happiness. The moment when the mind is trained in this way, oh, it is a great shelter. It's a great shelter. That's why mind has to be trained fully through the process of Shravana. Every day when we do this, what happens is the strength internally it will come. Let's say when there is a difficulty, we would never bow down to those difficulties, but rather we would think how what our acharyas have did, and then we should try, and we will try to do the same thing in those lines, and we move forward. And when a sadhaka does this, he will realize he's not this body but a powerful spirit soul. It comes. And then he will never engage in bodily conception. Rather, he's there in the body, but he'll just use that body for the service of the Lord. Nothing else. He has no other business other than that. And this teaching, no one tells us. This is the greatest science actually. What our acharyas are given. Greatest thing. We cannot repay to what we have received. That is the reason that why they don't charge for the classes. Because we cannot give anything. Cannot give anything. The material plane they say per class $10 or $15. For this we cannot repay. We cannot put a number. We cannot buy this. Even though we are completely absorbed in this world, still that absorption can be taken in two ways. That absorption can be material or that absorption can be spiritual. Whatever our independence, in however way we are using it, that is what we get. That's why if the mind is not pure, the one cannot focus, his attention is not correct. He's there, but he's thinking so many things. He's sitting there, but he's thinking so many other things. That means because the focus is not there. And when the attention is not there, his actions will not be pure. When his actions are not pure, that's an indication. Why the actions are not pure? Because eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is not pure. But Prabhupada says if one really wants to see the Lord and his devotees in the pages of Bhagavatam, then these things have to be addressed. Pages of Gita, these things have to be addressed. His actions and activities have to become pure. Then only he can do, then only his mind will become pure. Then when sleeping, eating, sleeping, mating, defending becomes pure, his actions become pure because he is doing with that consciousness. When that is pure, his mind becomes pure. When his mind becomes pure, he can focus what he's supposed to focus. Through that focus, when he reads, through that focus, when he hears, through that focus, when he does actions and activities in his life, he will get realizations. He will understand the pale thing of this world. It's very pale. The world is there, it's like cloud. You see, when you go outside, it is raining. You don't see the sun. It's all cloudy. It's covered up. So the illusion is like that. It covers up. It baffles up our consciousness and then keeps us away. Hare Krishna. Like to stop here. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Hare
Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful katha and reminder every day how we can become better sadhakas. I just wanted to share something that we all share the same thing as Basmati Mataji was talking about, the trials of every day, trying to become better and focusing on our sadhana. One of the things that I do whenever some calamities would arise is that I think about how fortunate we are to be in this process provided by Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. And I also think about the troubles that he took to bring this to us. I also think about the previous acharyas and also recent devotees who was facing with all types of torments, like in Russia and different parts of the world, to have this purchase for us today. And I compare that with whatever my daily challenges is, and there is nothing in comparison. So that's how I deal with and try to overcome whatever little things it is there to focus and become a better devotee. And actually, these things have bear fruits. The more we become concentrating on what we are doing and focusing to be better, is the more you will get help from Guru and Gauranga. That's my experience, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. The more we see in those lines, actually we'll realize that we're supposed to suffer more, but Krishna is giving only a fraction of that.
Yes,
Through our
Prabhuji.
actions, we should suffer more and more, but he is giving only little less.
Yes.
And then we see the other devotees there, even they have more sufferings, but still they are practicing. So it also gives us an indication that their absorption is somewhere else. So we should aspire for that kind of association, and then we should move forward. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Let us all offer our humble obeisances unto all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like these batteries, can fulfill the desires of everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya vipa sindhu patita